All right. Sweet. Cool. Welcome, everybody, Friday Live. I am Vince Perry, your entrepreneur, business broker, public adjuster, serial entrepreneur. Welcome to our Friday Live, where we just go back and forth into some of the things that are on my mind and some of the things that I'm thinking about to sort of get out there. But honestly, I'd love feedback, right? I would love feedback to see what you guys are going through. Because yeah, any kind of comments, any kind of thing that's going on. I mean, I'm always looking for feedback to see what it is that is going on with your business and in your life as well. Because leadership mindset is something that I like to talk about a lot. But what I want us to start off with today is a word that has been coming up a lot lately around me in my coaching and in my team. And that word is standards. Standards. The level of standards that you set for yourself and for those around you is really what determines your success. It's really what determines the overall flow of sort of your life. Is do you set high standards for yourself? Do you set high standards for yourself in your health? Do you set high standards for yourself in your relationships? Do you set high standards for yourself in your business? Do you set high standards for yourself for your team? It's something that's been sort of hitting home. Like on a personal level for me, I do set a lot of high standards for myself. I have a lot of stuff and goals and things that I have to hit on a daily basis. I have to work out every day, and I have to read every day, and I have to post on social media every day, and I have to review my goals every single day. And I make sure I do it every day no matter what, because that's a standard that I set for myself. The reason why I'm bringing it up is because I actually got called out by my own business coach, Dan Martell, because, it's a pretty large group, but it's an amazing coaching program, to be honest. No matter how large the group is, the advice and wisdom and knowledge that he shares from his years of experience, honestly, building companies of millions and multi-millions of dollars is really, really valuable, even in a group setting. But it's hard to get a question in because there's so many people that are in the group. Well, in order for you to ask a question, you have to, let me take this banner off for now. How do I take a banner off? I don't even know how to do it. So whatever, we'll leave it. Ask me about your subscription offer. All right, cool. In order for you to ask a question, you have to do your non-negotiables. And I post a lot on social media, but one of the non-negotiables, you have to post 3 stories. And I just so happened, and it was true because the last week or so, I haven't been on stories a lot. And I haven't been posting like I'm supposed to. And it's a shame too, because I require my mastermind members to post on social media as well. And you have to set an example, which is another thing I'll talk about, is setting an example for your team, holding yourself to high standards so that your team holds themselves to high standards as well. And I got my question. I got called on finally. Probably thousands of people, maybe hundreds of people in that group at the time. To get a question in is very, very difficult. And finally, Dan picks on me, and I start to tell him what my big win is, which is really me making a very, very important move and a very important decision, which had a lot to do with his inspiration to do so. And in the middle of my heartfelt sort of introduction to what I was about to ask, he says, "Wait, it looks like you haven't been posting on social media." And I'm like, "Well, no, I post all the time. Have you been doing your non-negotiables?" I said, "Yeah, I do them all the time." And he's like, "Well, I don't see a story here." And I was like, "Oh, I might not have posted one in a little bit." And he goes, "Yeah, sorry, got to save your question for next week." I was like, "Ah!" Even the whole group even heard me go, "Damn." And I was pretty upset because I post on social media a lot. I post on social media a lot. I mean, people tell me, like my friends are just like, "Dude, they call me Better Call Saul." And I put a lot of work in, like a lot, right? I mean, I post a lot on social media, post on YouTube 3 times a week. I work out every day. I eat healthy every day. I do whatever I can to better myself every single freaking day. And the one thing calls me out on, he catches me on, and I don't get to ask my question. So I was upset at first, but you have to just sort of reflect, and it felt like a dick move in the beginning, but ultimately, it is what it is. You need your coach, you need your mentors, you need those around you to hold you to high standards. The funny thing about coaching is that you're only as good a coach as as committed as your students are, which is why coaching has to cost money, and which is why coaching a lot of times is a lot of money, because the more that you're invested, the more you're actually going to put in the work. And and that's just why it costs so much money, because you have to be invested in it. But you have to be fully invested in it. And if there are rules and requirements that that coach requires, you have to abide by every single one of them. Because what happens is then you could come back and say, well, that coach sucks and it didn't matter, and I didn't get anything out of it. That mentor sucks. That leader sucks, when the whole time you were just being lazy and weren't doing what you're supposed to be doing. And then the same things with my team, right? So we've got a hell of a marketing team that we put together that are doing a lot right now. We've got a launch that we've already launched, but we're basically preparing like a full virtual launch, online launch pretty soon. And it's one thing that I talk about with them as well. Like, we had a couple people would show up late to meetings or wouldn't show up to meetings, or didn't do what was supposed to be done, and so on and so forth. And it's like, no, like, we as the leaders have to call them out on it and remind them of what we're trying to accomplish, and remind them of the importance of setting high standards for the company. So we had someone on the team that has not been performing, and I actually think that I took too long to pull the trigger, but they have not been performing. And then what happens is, if you have one person on the team that's not performing and you don't set the standard, then everyone else on the team was just going to look at you, sometimes consciously and sometimes subconsciously, that they don't even know it, but it's what's going on. And they're just gonna be like, well, if that guy can do it, then I can do it. Or if that guy can do it, all this talk about high standards is bullshit. And that's the last thing that you want. So we had to let him go, and figure out and pick up the pieces. I used to always be afraid of letting someone go because of the backlash that would occur as a result of letting that person go. Because you let somebody go and they've got a set of responsibilities. Once you let that person go, who the hell's doing those responsibilities? Like, sometimes you have to prepare for it, but sometimes you just have to do it. And one thing that I've learned is that becoming successful, especially in business, is you have to really, what does David Goggins say? Embrace the suck. Like, you have to be ready for very uncomfortable moments, very uncomfortable conversations, and you have to be. And what happens is, as you keep growing, is you continue to create problems. And what I know is, the more I grow, the more problems I create. And what I've heard, the whole next level, the millions, the billions, they're just creating more problems as well. So I tell my team that it's like, we're gonna keep creating more and more problems. We're gonna hold ourselves to a very high standard to make sure everything's getting done. And let me tell you, yesterday we had a meeting, and we're doing a landing page, and I'm looking at it, I'm just like, this is not really what I'm looking for. Like, it looked nice, the design was nice, but wasn't truly making the impact that I sort of envisioned for the thing to look like. Again, design wise, it looked nice, but it just wasn't making that impact. There was just something missing. So we're going through and we're nitpicking, all these different things. And the beauty of it is, because the standards are set so high, dude, 24 hours later, she came back with exactly what all of us were looking for. And it was really impressive. The team that we're building here, man, I'm excited. I think I've got one of you watching. I'm excited for what we're building here, because we're setting the standard like right from now, and they're going to know it, and they're going to see when someone else is not setting the standard. And we'll get to a point where I don't even have to call that person out. They're going to call that person out, because, hey, your bullshit is affecting me right now, so get your shit together. Remember, high standards. And it's just exciting to watch, because I just see it. It's like in the air. It's like, you just sort of feel it in the air. So, you know, I tell you guys, whoever's watching, 5 people watching right now, all right, set your standards high. However, I always say in leadership, the first person that you have to lead is yourself. You have to lead yourself first and foremost. And what you do, I don't know what the quote is, but what you do when no one's watching is what separates you from everyone else. What you do when people are watching and you're working hard, and that's great. But what are you doing when nobody's watching? Are you getting up early? Are you putting in that workout in? Are you eating right? I just commented on one of the mastermind members on social media. Got a freaking, he posts on his story a whole plate full of pancakes. And I'm just like, dude, that's not fuel. That's not what you should be eating. He's like literally in another state. So he's traveling and he's running, gunning and working claims. And he stops and eat pancakes. Like, no, man. No. It starts with that. Like your diet is so important. So I sent him a message and I said, get some protein and complex carbs in there so you could get the energy that you need. I said, that's just going to put you down. And then I told him, I said, what did I tell him? I said, the more you do this, or the sooner you get this down, the sooner your bank account goes up. Just with the diet, just with the strict diet and getting yourself lean and losing that extra weight. And not even about the extra weight, but just like eating the right foods that actually fuel you and give you the energy that you need to go along your day. I am proud to say that I stopped drinking. No more alcohol. Because I noticed the difference of when I drink and when I don't. And it's not the day of and the day after when you get your hangover. It's actually the 3 subsequent days after that you're just not sharp. Because you feel it. If anybody's a drinker, like I was a drinker, where when you really think about it, all right, you guys know this. You drink over the weekend, right? But then Wednesday starts to creep around, right? I don't know if you guys can relate to this. But when I was a drinker, Wednesday would creep around and you just sort of get that little voice. You get that little, man, I've been working hard. You could use a drink. And maybe you just don't. So you don't drink Monday, you don't drink Tuesday. And Wednesday could be that time when you have that first drink. But then Thursday, if you don't have that drink on Wednesday, that voice creeps in a little bit more. And a lot of times you succumb to it. You have that drink on Thursday. And then Friday, forget it. That's when you drink. Now, I don't know if you guys are like I was, but maybe you could have one drink. That's great. But I normally can't. It's got to be at least 2. More than likely, it'll be 3. And at 41 years old, believe it or not, I feel that the next day. But what I'm getting to is that it's only Monday. If you drink on Saturday, let's say you don't drink on Sunday, it's only 2 or 3 days that you're getting there without actual drinking. But what I'm trying to tell you is that the alcohol is still in your system. It's still in your system for, I just Google it or check it out. Like it's like 3 to 5 days that it takes for the alcohol to completely get out of your system. And what I will tell you, if somebody is watching or listening that has never gone more than 5 days without drinking, and believe it or not, there's a lot of people. You think that you do, but when you really go back, you probably had a drink on a Saturday or a drink on a Friday. So even if you go Friday to Friday, Saturday, you might start to get that real mental clarity. But after day 5, it's almost like a light switch where it's like, whoa, okay, so that's what this is like, you know? So I just made a decision that that's how I want to be all of the time. So your health, your diet, your amount of alcohol consumption, and you hear it all the time too. Like successful people are just like, just stop drinking. Like that's a big one. It's a big, 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 big one. But if you could hold it to have one drink, I guess, but not me. I got to have more than one, you know? So, but anyway, the diet's important. And then holding your standards high to everything you do. So with the team, I talk about it all the time. It's just like, let's get it done. We have a timeline. We need to get it done. Here's what it looks like. Let's go. And I'm proud to say we named somebody on our team. We put them in a leadership position today as the head of this project that we are completing. So basically, if you are the entrepreneur, if you are the business owner, you cannot be in all of the things. I know you hear this over and over again, but it doesn't matter whether your team is 3 people or 30 people. you cannot be in all of it. And I noticed myself as we're doing this launch, because there's so much involved, that I've been in every single piece of the process. And that was by design, just because I wanted to make sure that we got it going. So ultimately it was a good decision to do that. But now, after yesterday's meeting, and I'm like nitpicking some stuff, I sort of backed away and was just like, I shouldn't be doing that. I don't micromanage. You shouldn't micromanage. So, we put somebody in charge. So now everything has to go through that person, right? So that person sees my vision. That person knows exactly what I'm looking for. If he doesn't, I'm a text message, voice note, or phone call away to just get some clarity. And that needs to be now from him displayed and relayed to the team. And then when the team brings him something, he knows already what I'm looking for, and he'll make sure he tweaks it the way I probably want it. And then once that process is done, then I go final check. And hopefully the goal is by then is a couple things here and there, or awesome. And most of the times I say it's awesome because the team is, well, awesome. So yeah, that's what's going on with me. Had a couple moments this week that ended with, it started with the call, getting kicked off the call. I didn't get kicked off the call. I just wasn't allowed to answer my question, ask my question, talking about high standards with my team, having to let somebody go on my team because the standards just weren't there. And there were warnings. I had several conversations with him about that. And then putting somebody into a leadership position who already understands the importance of high standards, So the question to you is, what level of standards do you hold yourself to ultimately? Because some of you who watch my shows and stuff like that aren't really, may not be a CEO or owner or business owner or have a team under them or whatever. So it starts with yourself, because then from there, you've got the rest of the family that you have to look out for, And if you're going to be the one, Ed Milet calls it The One. I think the book is called The One, or maybe there's a chapter called The One. But if you are going to be the one, right, then you have to set high standards for yourself and in everything that you do, Very, very important. So yeah, a lot of big things going on. If you've noticed, I've been talking a lot about mergers and acquisitions, business brokering, and stuff like that. I feel like standing. And we're basically putting together a product. And this is it right here. If you want to know what your business is worth, we put together this incredible product called a Value Clarity Report that literally puts a valuation on your business. But it's not just a valuation. It's a valuation. It's a SWOT analysis. It's a valuation score. And then it's a roadmap. That's the best part. The roadmap's the best part. If you are a business owner and you are not thinking about the value of your business, if you are not taking your business and actually making it its own product, like its own thing, you may have products that you sell in the business, but your business itself is a product. If you are not building your business to scale and to sell, whether you decide to sell or not, then you're doing the wrong thing. And take it from me, I've been there. But right now, what we're building, it's all on track. It's all on track. It's all on track to dominate. It's all on track to basically take this. I've already got an offer for an investment, by the way, whoever's watching. I've already got an offer. Now it's from the broker that I'm working for. But it's just interesting that when you start to build it right, when you could establish recurring revenue, when you could establish a that does not require you, and everything that I'm doing right now is basically the 30,000. I'm working in the weeds, the 30,000 foot view, but also implementing everything so someone else takes the part of the thing that is done in the company. That's how it's got to be. It just works better that way, because what happens is you as a business owner become the bottleneck. So I think it's funny because, and if you want to book with me right now, there you go. I don't know if you can even copy that. But here's the thing. I used to think that by backing away from the business, it was just me sort of being lazy because I didn't want to do all the things. And maybe that's what it was. Now I actually understand the concept of, if your company is owner dependent, then you become the bottleneck. which ultimately affects everyone else in the company because the company doesn't scale. If you want the company to scale, you actually have to remove yourself by putting the right people in the right place so that they can do all the things and they can do it better because they don't have to focus on other things. And as the business scales, they scale as well. So that's the thing, right? So you think that you're backing yourself away from the business because you need to work harder than everyone else and so on and so forth. Let me tell you something. As the CEO, as the owner, you're always going to be working harder than everyone else. You're just working harder on different things. I'm out here doing social media. I'm driving 3 hours to Jacksonville for a speaking engagement. I don't have to list all the things that I'm doing. My team knows that I'm out there all the time doing something. And I'm always thinking too, which is, as the visionary, you should also have time to think because it is up to you to steer the ship. It is up to you to actually look ahead to see the storm coming and look ahead to see what it's supposed to look like while they're doing the things that you're sort of thinking about. That's how you scale to multiple millions. And it's just been nice to have such clarity in launching what I'm launching right now, which is this value clarity report, which is a subscription model. If you're a business owner and you just want to know what your business is worth, I'm telling you, shoot me a DM. Shoot me a DM. And then you could ask me about the subscription offer, which is just all about building to scale your business, but in this way of like always putting a valuation on that business. Because that's what you want to grow. And by growing that, you grow your business and the team is much happier because it's not owner dependent. There's recurring revenue and you're making cash. And you're making cash. That's what's most important. Of the three, they're all important. And then what happens is as you scale, then all the people scale with it because they understand your values. They understand your standards. And then as it continues to grow, then you put those people who are ride or die, who understand the standards, who understand the value, you put them into leadership positions, little by little by little, and they move up within the company. As the company grows, they grow as well. And it's a beautiful thing. It's really, really, really a beautiful thing. So if you want to know more about how to do that, shoot me a DM because I can help you do that. We're doing it every single day. You could ask my team. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome to watch. And it's fun. We have fun. We have so much fun. It's not even funny. We have so much fun. It's not even funny. So yeah. So that's what you want to do. No, do I have any? Oh, I got one comment. What's for lunch, Vince? For lunch today is a pre-made meal that I have in the refrigerator that is mailed to me every single week that I am not crazy about anymore, but is super, super healthy. So it's probably like, it's usually a meat and veggies. Probably veggies and like hamburger meat. And veggies are like steak or cauliflower rice and chicken or something like that. Yeah, I already had my protein shake. I already had my breakfast, which is oatmeal and 3 eggs. Oatmeal's delicious. Then I'll have my lunch and then dinner. Then I'll have another protein shake. And then dinner will be maybe a little bit of a cheat, but not really, because we're going to go out to dinner and we're going to have some steak. I'll probably have steak and veggies. Thank you. We got a question. Victor, Vince, what is your opinion on buying leads from marketing agencies? So there's scrapers that we're looking at. I've got an AI scraper. So I'm building an AI agent, Victor. Part of the AI that I'm getting is going to be a scraper tool. Now, you could look up scraper, look up lead scraper, okay, Victor? And you could actually get a subscription for a company that will scrape leads based on the criteria that you need. So I don't know if that's what they're using, then that's okay. You could use a marketing agency to do so. So I don't know exactly what the marketing agency is offering, but yeah, if they're giving you cold leads based on the criteria that you're looking for. So for example, for the Value Clarity Report, to DM me if you're interested. For the Value Clarity Report right now at the moment, until it changes, because it may change depending on as we start to do market research and stuff like that, because we're launching and researching at the same time. It's any business owner with a business that makes over $500,000 in gross revenue and has been in business for over 3 years. Boom. Scrape that. I get a list of leads, Victor, phone numbers, addresses, company names, names of the business owner. Start calling. One after the other, to the other, to the other. Okay? Or go visit their place of business. so that we could sell this report, because we feel that if you're making over 500,000, I might even push it to $1 million again, but we're going to see how it goes. And you've been in business for over 3 years, you might want to know what your valuation is, and you might want a roadmap for the next 3 to 5 years, maybe 10 years, that you could sell your business in year 10. Because that's how long you kind of want to own a business, by the way. When you look at private equity, when you look at people who invest in businesses, normally it's about a 10-year mark. They'll buy a business, they'll scale it for 10 years, and then they flip it. It's like flipping a house, but flipping it over 10 years, because you increased the value of that business by implementing operations, marketing strategies, so on and so forth. So it's like a 10-year thing. So over 3 years of business, I think it's a good time to get yourself a valuation and find out to see where you're at. So yeah, I don't know. It depends on the marketing agency, Victor. But I do agree with buying leads. Yeah, I mean, if it serves your target correctly and you've got your target narrowed down, then by all means, go ahead and do it. We are going to be doing that. So we're bringing on a sales team in the next week or two, at least 2. Apparently, these agencies are offering client info, carrier, and loss type. I mean, you got nothing to lose, Victor. You've got nothing to lose. And if you already know that they have an open claim, yeah, I say go for it. Absolutely, 1,000%. Now, I would also recommend, remember, you're going to get a lot of leads, so you might want to hire a sales team, or if it's your public adjusters, One thing I've been telling public adjusters, now in your case, Victor, if they already have an open claim, then you're good to go. You could tell them, hey, we could reopen that claim and we could help you. I think that's a great idea, Victor. Buy it. Go for it. Buy the leads. Okay. But how much is it costing you per lead is what you're going to have to do. So you're going to have to take a look at the metrics of how much is it costing you? How many of those leads are you actually closing, so that you can get the actual cost per lead. It's the same thing when you do Google ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, or whatever it is. You're going to set a budget. Leads are going to go. You're going to follow up with those leads. You're going to close them. Then you have to check to see the metrics of how much each lead is actually costing you. And then there's another thing that I was looking at. I'm actually taking a course right now. You got to always be learning. And another thing was called, I'll get to it in a little bit, but check your metrics is very, very important. All right. Was it here? All right, that's fine. I don't want to waste time. So yeah, check your metrics, man. And if you've got the sales team to actually call and to follow up with them, that's huge. That's huge. That'll help a lot, because they could just make those cold calls. That's what I would do. Okay, and that's what we're doing. So we'll have a sales team. You're going to see a lot of digital marketing ads from me coming out, selling the value clarity report and the importance of actually increasing the value of your business. And then as they come in, we will have an AI agent that answers the lead that comes in, by the way, to set up the appointment for the salesperson. And then we'll also have an AI agent working to help with the report. So how about that? Guys, you got to use AI. So important. So important. So, all right, guys. So standards, hold them high for yourself and for your team. It'll go a long way. But it has to start with yourself. And that's what I got. That's it. Guys, happy Friday. Have a great weekend. Rest, relax, enjoy your family, and be ready to dominate on Monday. See you guys later.